Yo, what's up, ladies? The king is back. It's me, Andrew, and I just want to let y'all know, now today's Christmas. Happy birthday, JC. And it's also the, I believe, third day of Hanukkah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so this holiday season, I am hoping for Pokemon Sword and Shield and for Nintendo to stop lying to us. Come on. Alright, so I made a video a few weeks ago, I believe. It was called, maybe a month ago, I don't know. It was called ranking all 7 Pokemon regions. Now it's 8, but I took that down because of a comment I got. That sounds really bad, but just hear me out. So it was from a kid with an Infernape icon, so he was probably upset about how low I ranked Gen 4. Spoilers. But he brought up a good point. I wasn't really explaining myself very well, so I took it down and really thought about what I wanted from this video. So this video exists to flesh out that concept. The top 8 Pokemon regions based on Pokemon, not on games or the regions themselves, unless I directly say it. I might mention things once or twice in gens 4, 5, and 6, since those are, and 1 maybe, because those I think are kind of interesting, but those will just be little tidbits. But yeah, so let's get on with the video. Now, number 8. Starting off the list at number 8, the worst region in my opinion based on the Pokemon is Gen 4. Listen, kid with the Infernape skin. Icon, whatever. Hear me out. So there's some awesome ones, like Infernape, and you got Torterra, he's cool, Garchomp, Electivire, Togekiss, Gliscor, a lot of lovely mons, and Darkrai, though I think Darkrai's the only cool legendary, the rest are very unnecessary and they're way too much. But then you have stuff like Kricketune and Magmortar, you literally took a guy with a butt for a face and made it worse. I do not know how you do that. Stuff like Obama Snow is cool, but then again, you had to go and ruin my boy Apom with Ambipom. Listen to this.
Alright, 10 out of 10 Pokemon of the year.
But yeah, so Gen 4 had a lot of really cool ideas, but didn't always execute them well.
That's a Pokepun. And
the region is poorly designed, not only because of how annoying it is to traverse and how many HMs you need, but also, they only have 3 fire types in the game, including the starters. And then including Chimchar, and they got Ponyta, and this was before the buff, so it kind of
stinks.
And then Magmar and Magmortar, who they're terrible, but you don't even get them till later on in the game, so that's just bad game design. But tangent aside, Gen 4 is definitely the worst of the bunch, and I have serious problems with it, but it's by far not a bad game. I especially think Platinum is pretty good. So, just the worst of a good bunch. Now, moving on to number 7. Oh, sorry, I'm asleep because this region is so boring. At the number 7 spot, we have Generation 5. Game-wise, I loved this game. It had amazing music, a great story, and fantastic graphics and animation. Way better than Gen 6. I love it so much. But the Pokemon were boring. I mean, at best, you had cool stuff like Nicholas, who I love. Genesect was a great stand-in for Mewtwo. Then you've got, a lot of people hate these two, but I really like Trubbish and Garbodor way more than Muck and Grimer. And I really like Vanillish. I think that's pretty cool. Let's think who else. There's Beartick. Gotta love Beartick. But then you got a lot of boring stuff like Kling Clang. And who else is there? It's pretty boring. I mean, I like Unpheasant Male, and I don't really like Unpheasant Female, but I get why that's there. The difference between male and female birds, but still. And then This is like weird stuff. Samurott, Oshawott and Duat are cool, but Samurott's kind of weird. And Loma Mola. This is a sock and throw. They're terrible fighting types. Not only are they're just dudes in. I'm gonna try to follow up Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee with dudes in robes who look like Ernie and Bert. You don't want your fighting types to look like Ernie and Bert. But now, sorry about that. Sorry for that outburst. Now moving on to, I believe, number 6. Ironically, in the number 6 spot, we have Generation 6. Now, Generation 6, animation-wise, was super lame. Hated it, and I hate that all Pokemon games are kind of based on the way that looks. But it's bearable, I guess. But it has some great designs. Greninja, gotta love it. Helioloptile, gotta love it. That the furry dinosaur one, not like a furry, just like has fur. The fossil, I forget his name, but you know it. Go-Go, I love it. It's based on a motorcycle, but it's not just a motorcycle with eyes. You know who I'm talking about. So this guy is so creative way to interpret an inanimate object into a Pokemon, and I love it. And then you have Breaks, and I love so much, and then you have Delphox. And you, who else is in Gen 6? Like, that's the thing, a lot of Gen 6 is so forgettable. And then you have Binacle. And then you got Diggersby, who's just a fat bunny with a poop hamburger. So yeah, I mean, it's better than Gen 5, but now actually moving on to the positives with number 5. Next up, the number 5 spot, we have the newest region, Galar. Now, Galar is pretty good, I guess. I mean, you got a lot of great mons, like I love so much Cramorant and Thwackey and Drizzle, I love so much, but all the other starters, Scorbunny's entire line is cursed. Then the other two, First Stage and Final Evolutions, I really do not care for. The one game where I wanted to trade myself a Poliwhirl to start, but you can't do that, can you, Game Freak? Can you? But yeah, and then we also have some lovely designs like Dreepy, gotta love Dreepy, and Dubwool and Wooloo are fantastic. But then we got a lot of stinkers, like the penguin with an ice cube, and the fat squirrel, and the weird hairy emo goblin man, and I'm not that big a fan of Eternatus. I get it, it's the harbinger of the apocalypse, but the whole thing about a well-designed Pokemon is that it could be your friend. Eternatus gives me the same feeling as looking at like a helicopter. I don't feel anything. But yeah, so that's kind of the end of the so-so regions, the like kind of forgettable ones. And now we're moving on to the absolute musts, the classics. Let's go on to number 4. So yeah, here in the number 4 spot, we have Generation 1, which is one of the most overrated Pokemon regions ever. Yet, one of the most underrated. The games themselves are a glitchy, buggy mess, the originals at least, and they have a lot of lazy designs, like Dugong, who's just a cartoon Dugong named Dugong, probably the laziest Pokemon ever. Then you got stuff like Raticate, and Fearow, and Krabby, and Jinx. But moving along, you also have some classic designs like Lapras. Let's think. Scyther, Clefable, Pikachu, the evolutions, and then you have and then the two quintessentials, in my opinion, Nidoking, or for this generation at least, like the thing that sums up the entire region, Nidoking and Gyarados. They have the teeth, the angry eyes, the claws, the spikes. But at the end of the day, Pokemon like Lapras and Pikachu, they're nondescript animals that stand on their own and look like they could convey a wide range of emotions and truly be your friend, which in my opinion is the baseline for what any Pokemon should strive to be. Moving on to the number 3 spot. And believe me, folks, it's all uphill from here. Ironically, in the number 3 spot, Generation 3. I love Generation 3. It got classics like Gardevoir, Metagross, Sceptile, Breloom. I don't think there's a single Generation 3 Pokemon that I don't like. There are ones that I'm iffy on, but none that I just flat out hate. I mean, Luvdisc is probably, in my opinion, the worst one, but it serves a purpose with the heart scales. So yeah, moving on to number 2. The number 2 spot, one of the most amazing Pokemon regions in a long time, we got Alola. Alright, so first off, Alolan Ninetales, one of the most majestic things I've ever seen. Alolan Raichu and Alolan Marowak I love more than the originals, and I already love the originals. Then you got amazing new Pokemon like Decidueye, Golisopod, and in my opinion, a true evolution of the Gen 1 style of designing creatures in Kommo-o, who Kommo-o is obviously way too complicated to fit on the Game Boy, but that'd be expected after 20 years. But back on the Game Boy sprites, they really didn't have that much room to make more than 1 or 2 or 3 colors per Pokemon, excluding black and white. So Pokemon's designs were very simple with the color schemes, yet very effective. And Kommo-o is kind of going back to this with only having 3 main colors, again excluding black and white, and it really works so well. So, and of course Vikavolt, up there with Leavanny as some of the greatest, and Heracross as some of the greatest bug types. Now on to the number 1 spot. Alright, so here at the number 1 spot, can I get a drum roll, please? It's Generation 2!
Yeah, let's go! Yeah!
We got classics like, again, tied with Haunter for my favorite Pokemon, Skarmory.
Yeah!
This is such cool design, a metal bird. You got stuff like Tyranitar, the poster boy for coming out of puberty strong with that weird middle stage, but he incorporates the best parts of that into the best parts of his design. And then you got stuff like Smeargle, very
Can't forget him.
Snubbull, so awesome.
Oh yeah!
This generation feels like an evolution. Again, pun absolutely intended. I love puns. Very, it's very evolution to the Generation 1 philosophy whilst being more experimental. You have designs like Gligar, who's
my god!
A scorpion mixed with a bat. I love it. And then you got stuff like Donphan, who's like
That's a classic.
a tire elephant. No, that
Is trash. That's a pokey pun.
throw that away. But they made it work, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love this region. So yeah, that's my video. Hope you like this Kid with the Infernape thing. I'm not even gonna edit out me turning this off. Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy Hanukkah. Bye.